Hey, this is Teddy here with another video with Izzy, and we're here in Samaria, and the internet is down, so there's nothing to show you on the screen behind me here, but we're going to still try to make a video here for you and hopefully use the cellular to be able to post it up online for you. Some headlines and some updates and let you know what's going on. So, we know from before that Israel was the per capita leader, probably still is the per capita leader in the number of jabs for the illness injected per capita, highest percentage of the people. And yet, the numbers are rising, and there's a lot of new numbers right now. You see the same thing happening with England, by the way, which among the solid Western countries, or general, like big size Western countries, also has the highest number and the highest percentage, and also they're seeing a huge uptick in the numbers there. But you know, no surprise for me and for many of us who already knew what was going on, and with the fake jab. We see some other things happening here. One of the things that's going on is that today is considered on the rabbinic calendar the ninth day of the month of Av, and that has historically been a day of disaster for the Jewish people throughout history, even though the counting of the days has changed a little bit. It's always the ninth day, but the question is, where is the first day of the month? And that has changed. But according to the rabbinic calendar this year, this is the ninth day of Av, or Tisha B'Av, as they call it. And Judaism officially declares that the temple fell the second time because of baseless hatred of Jew against Jew. Well, what's happening now is that the word kotel basically means western wall in Hebrew, and so the western wall of the Temple Mount is where Jews go to pray today. And there has been a dispute going on there, a lot of politics involved, and basically what it comes down to is different denominations of Judaism want the ability to be able to freely pray there according to the way that they would like to pray. But one of the denominations of Judaism basically doesn't want to allow other denominations to pray there. So there's been a political fight there. The politics decided that there should be a different section for the different non-Orthodox denominations to be able to pray, and that was going to be set up, and it was passed by the parliament, but then it was delayed, and then it didn't really happen, and then it was canceled by the government, and you know, on and on and on. All kinds of political maneuverings going on there. And so recently, getting apparently ready for Tisha B'Av, and basically all of the religious members of society here in Israel are fasting today. No water, no food, for about 24 hours, starting from a little bit before sundown yesterday at the end of Shabbat, going until a little bit past sundown today, coming up in a few hours. No water and no food. Fasting in mourning for the destruction of the temple in 70 AD. And yet, the answer that Judaism arrives at for why the temple was destroyed, it was because of baseless hatred from Jew to Jew. And yet we see with this dispute is that hatred still continues. There is still disputes between different denominations of Judaism, and there is a severe lack of peace and lack of understanding there. So it's just, I think actually it actually calls into question that whole reasoning. What if that reasoning is not the proper reason for why the temple was destroyed? If that is the reason, or if it is not the reason, doesn't it make sense to really pray and to ask Elohim, what is the reason for the destruction of the temple? I had a Orthodox Jewish friend, explain to me today that similar to the 40 years of wandering in the desert, and what was the reason for that? And yet 40 years seemed like a long time, but really it's a drop in the bucket compared to around 2,000 years. And And I said, well, look, we know it's actually written in the Bible, it's written in the Torah, exactly what is the reason for the 40 years wandering in the desert. It's because of the obedience. The 10 spies that went in there, and the majority of them said that, no, we can't go in there, there's giants and we can't make it in, we're not going to survive. And the 2 of the spies actually did the right thing, saying that, yeah, well, there are giants and it's very difficult, but Elohim is with us and we can make it. However, they were outvoted. That was the reason why that whole generation needed to basically not make it into the land, a generation about 40 years, and that's why it was 40 years. That is the reason. It was that disobedience. And so I said, doesn't it behoove Judaism to pray and really ask God even more, what is the reason for the destruction of the temple and subsequently being cast out of the land? Because whatever that reason is, apparently the repentance or whatever is needed has not been satisfied, because a huge number, approximately 50% of the Jews in the world, are still living outside of Israel. The temple is still not rebuilt. I don't think it really will be rebuilt, if you ask me personally, but nobody's asking me personally. I just don't think it's going to happen. It's not going to be rebuilt. But yet, from a Judaism perspective, doesn't it make sense to really ask God, what is the reason for this 2,000-year span? What was the reason why the temple was allowed to be destroyed, and what can be done, what should be done, or what is the lesson to be learned? And that question basically was met with, well, that's a very good question. I've never heard that before. And I said, well, maybe it makes sense to spread this question around in Judaism so that more people can pray and ask God. What I would see as a win, what I would see as a success there, is that if people involved in Judaism would seek the Lord and seek out and reach out to Yahweh, the King of the universe, and try to make contact with him and pray and get answers and speak to him and build relationship with him, that would be a big step in the right direction. So if you'd like, please join me in prayer for that, and we'd like to see that that come about, because more relationship means more relating and more sharing, and we would like to see that happening more and more. So if you would join with me in prayer about that, and thanks for tuning in, and really appreciate you taking a look at these videos and subscribing, hit the bell icon, all that blah blah blah, and spread it around so that others can get up to date. And I'm going to cut this video a little bit short because the longer ones I don't think are getting as many views. And so that would be good enough for this one. Thank you very much for watching, and tune in again for next time, and we'll try to keep you updated on what's going on here these days in the land of Israel, in Samaria and in Jerusalem and in Tel Aviv and in Galilee, in different parts of the land, and what's happening over here. As it's written, inquire about the peace of Jerusalem, or pray for the peace of Jerusalem, or inquire regarding the peace of Jerusalem. Ask what is happening with the shalom of Jerusalem, and they will prosper that love Jerusalem. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much from Izzy and I. We send you blessings, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, bye for now.